Hello and welcome. Out on the roof again today as the weather is starting to turn a little bit more hospitable doing outdoor recording. And just want to give a little bit of an update what's going on, kind of recording this on a relatively quiet Sunday after 3 days in a row of various kinds of gigs. So a bit to talk about, and I'm still actually figuring out the lesson learned in real time. Anyway, let's get into it. So as mentioned, it's Sunday, and I had gigs on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all at different locations, and they all went well. Thursday, well, mostly well. Thursday I was playing at Blue Oak Brewing Company in Redwood City, and just had a really fun time there, with one notable exception, which was that I think I had a power cable failing on my mixer, which caused it to make a horrific noise in the middle of a couple songs in a row. So I did some work to actually just kind of move that out of my signal chain. I just plugged directly into my amp after a couple failed starts. So a lot of stress in a short set. Ended up just skipping my break, and because I had spent time at the beginning, after I got everything working and set up really nicely, sometimes you start playing and something new happens. So, preparation doesn't solve all problems, but it definitely helped a bit. So that, in the end though, one of the cool things about that gig in particular was there was one couple in particular that was there as I was in the hell of dealing with all my technical issues, and they stayed to the end, and by the end I had several groups of people there all making requests for songs which I hadn't done in a while. I posted the QR code for my song listing, and someone found it and actually made a couple requests that I hadn't done in a long time, including Collide by Howie Day, that was a song I hadn't even heard in at least a year, much less played. So I kind of had to figure it out on the fly as I was playing it, which was fun. But a really fun gig, actually. And good news, it was kind of an audition gig, and it looks like I will get invited back. So success there. Friday, I played a private party for a rather large crowd of folks, like 100 or so folks. And, 4.5 hours long. Quite a long gig. Did have a recurrence. Actually, on Thursday when the sound happened, I thought it was a different failure, but that wasn't the problem. So it did happen again in the middle of a song on Friday as well, but I was able to, because I had done some debugging, I was able to get to a much more quick analysis and fix of the problem without completely deconstructing my setup, which was good. And that went really well. I still had gas in the tank at the end of the night, which, considering the topic of last week's vlog was, which was pain, I was pretty happy about. So yeah, I've still got this thing on. This finger's still kind of giving me some trouble. They appear to be doing a little better. They don't feel worse for having so much gigging this week, but it's pretty good. And then yesterday I went to play at a different location in Santana Row. So Santana Row again, but they have 2 different stages. So I got to try the second stage. And I went with a friend who we were going to hang out afterwards just to kind of catch up. And I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this gig because the forecast was rain. But I looked, and the stage area that they had in the second location had a little umbrella for shade and rain covering. So I thought, well, let's at least go and see, and I'll get a sense for the space. And had a really actually a very short but nice gig before the weather just got really, really hostile. So it was supposed to be from 5 to 8. I ended up playing from 5 to almost 6, just because at that point the skies started to open up and there was nowhere for anyone to be. And my gear luckily was protected mostly, and I was able to get out of there without any kind of mishap. But a shortened gig, just glad I did it just for the experiment. And then I went over to Capello's, where I have recently played, and saw another musician who goes by Redemption Breaking. I think that's the right name for it. I'll put a picture of his website on my screen here. Nate is his name, and he has that as his artist name. And got to see some of his music, chat with some of the folks at Capello's. Really fun time. And today I just got back from going to the Chit Chat just to watch some music and read a bit of a book. So trying to take some time to unwind. But this next week, as it stands right now, I have nothing in the calendar, but that very easily could change between now and the end of the week, so hopefully it does. And then the next gig that I have on the calendar right now is playing music with Mr. Jones, for Mr. Jones and me. So we're going to do some some rehearsal this week and get ready for next week, week after next gig. So, all that having been said, I kind of went in a little cold onto the vlog today because I've been thinking a lot about the journey, I guess, in the last week or so, and in particular, the topic of last week was about pain. And I've been kind of just living in the reality where this will pass, and this week has trended in the good direction, so I'm cautiously optimistic. I also have a doctor's appointment on April 9th to, check things out and get cortisone shots if I need, but I'm trying to continue to just approach it with optimism, continuing to learn material and such. But really, I guess I'm going to call this one See What Sticks, because this is a really interesting week in just kind of trying different things in the moment, reacting to things in the moment, and approaching my craft a little differently. And in particular, I reflect on that Thursday gig, which was when I'm playing in a place where I've got a crowd that's interacting with me. When I used to do live streams, I would take a lot of requests and do songs that people request. But I've kind of gotten away from that in live settings. I mean, a lot of times I'm just the background, so there's not really a place for that. But I noticed when people discovered my song listing and they started to make requests that I was having a lot of, first, I got more tips from everyone, for one thing. That's not the whole reason I do the thing, but it's certainly not a reason. That's not a reason to ignore. And also just more fun. Like I went in there not knowing song to song what people were going to request, and people were delighted that they picked the song and they got to hear it live. And if I thought it was obscure enough, I would even describe why I knew it or say something about the song. And it was fun. It was very interactive. By the end of the night, I felt like we were all kind of having fun together. And again, the tips were higher than usual per person. And that's something that I think it's worth cultivating. I've actually seen another video by the Christine DeMeo, who is someone I've followed her channel. She's, I think, an Alabama live looping musician, and she did a video on tips and requests. And I think I'm going to try to lean into this for my public gigs where I'm playing music for kind of random folk. Like when I'm playing at Santana Row, for instance, or playing at farmers markets or whatever. I think I want to prominently feature requests as a part of that, because it's something that I don't do enough of. And I think that there's fun for me and there's fun for them, and it probably helps keep my material a little fresh. Sometimes I'm going to be playing in the background, and that's just going to be what it is, but sometimes if I can take requests and do that, it's probably the next step for me. So wasn't really looking in that direction. It was something where actually it came from the audience, and this is one of my old favorite learnings from improv is read the environment and take what it gives you, treat it as gifts. And I think this has given me something kind of tangible to work on, and in particular making it easier to make requests. I've got some ideas for signage that might make it easier that I would like to cultivate. I do want to try to lean into this request ecosystem as something I want to do, and as I kind of add material. I mean, some of those requests also lead to material that I want to learn. But right now, I'm going to be spending some time this week, since I have a little downtime, relearning material for Mr. Jones and me, and also working on a new material that I want to feature in retirement community gigs, which are coming up again in April, and just having a good working knowledge of all of my material. So going through the stuff I haven't played in a while and giving it some more love, and probably doing some live streams. So if you're watching this channel, you certainly are someone that I probably know personally. I will be doing some live streams, one at least this week, maybe two. And so I'm going to get in the habit of practicing songs I haven't done in a while. And so I'll probably do like half a stream of just me doing songs I have not done in a while, followed by just taking requests to see if I can really get to the point. My hope is to get to 100 songs that are kind of random access. Someone will request a song and I can just play it. There's probably about 75 songs in that, maybe 80 songs in that space, maybe 85. I don't know. It's getting there. But I want to. There's a bunch of stuff that's just on kind of got dust on it and mothballs that I want to dust off and go for that. So really, this seeing what sticks, and this is just like a part of the experimentation. As I reflect on this year, it's the end of March now, the first quarter of first quarter of 2024, not Q4. That doesn't work that way. I guess that would be the first quarter of Q4. What's that? It's the 13th, 16th? Anyway, that's something I want to kind of work on going into the rest of the year. But really, we're trying to see what resonates with people. And as the weather starts to behave more and I get gigs not canceled so often, hopefully I'm able to get a little bit more momentum. I had a good week this past week. I've got nothing going next week right now, and I'd like to continue to build that up. So this week's going to be marked by taking requests on my streams and reaching out to venues to try to get more gigs. Because I got a lot coming up, but they're kind of spread out right now, and I want to get more high quality gigs that are paying. So with that, one other last thing. I'm always doing this when I'm about to end, is really happy with how the YouTube channel, the main YouTube channel, is going. I posted a video on Friday as I went into my private gig, and the response has been really, really good. In the first, I guess it's been just about 48 hours since I posted that video as I record this, and I think I'm about 400 views, which is a lot for my channel. 2 days into a video release, and a bunch of people seem to have subscribed, I think, in response to that video. I can actually check the analytics and find out. But in general, the subscriber count, when I post this video, it might even be at 250. It's getting quite a lot better quite quickly. So it's things are starting to come together. I just kind of keep moving forward and keep getting better and see what happens, see what sticks. So with that, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you either on a live stream during the week or next week on this channel. So you take care. Cheers.